ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930 present The Drive. Winner of the 2024 West Virginia Broadcasters Association Excellence in Broadcasting Award for Best Talk Show.
It is Monday, July 1st. Happy Canada Day. I am your host. It is The Drive. I'm your host, Paul Swann, here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Hope you guys had a good weekend. We're ready to get your week started off. We got a short week ahead. We got, of course, Independence Day coming up this week also. We have got Dog Dazzle coming up, so we're going to be pretty busy around here on the old radio ranch, but we've got a full week of shows. I'll be here Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then we're calling out of the bullpen our producer, Ben Anderson. He's going to get his shot at doing the show on Thursday and Friday, so I hope you look forward to that and give Ben a chance. He's going to have a good time with you on Thursday and Friday, but we've got a lot to get into on this show and for the rest of the week. Coming up today on the program, we're going to talk to the head coach of the Marshall women's basketball team, Juli Fulks. She's going to join us here in the next few minutes. Haven't talked to her since I think it was maybe the first or second day she had been hired, and we were over at the ballpark. So we haven't talked to her in a little while. I'm looking forward to that. So we'll get her on the show about 5:15, and then we'll hear a little bit about what happened with the Cold Cats over the weekend. Of course, if you didn't get a chance to listen to those games, next opportunity's coming up in a few days. We've got those games, all home games, right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. So full show today, and we've got your text to get to as well, and that's 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. And of course, with the holiday weekend coming up, what are you looking forward to most? What are you excited about? And of course, I think we're all excited that we're getting closer and closer to the start of football season. We're in July, so that means we're halfway there. The year is halfway over. We're halfway there. We're going to make it. We're going to get there. And of course, that means it's all downhill from here as far as getting closer. You get to this midway point to climb, it feels like, to get to it, and now we're on our way down, and it's going to be like a roller coaster ride all the way to football season. So how was everyone's weekend? Hope everyone had a good weekend. And, of course, if you were listening to the Cold Cats yesterday, Cold Cats get a 2-game sweep. They faced off against the Bristol State Liners, won the first game 7-5, and then they got an 8-0 win. Game 2, we'll hear from Tommy Gregg a little bit later on in the program, get his thoughts on how this team has improved. I think you look at what they've been able to do as of late. The Cold Cats are now 9-14. They're getting a little bit better. They still have a ways to go, but it helped that they were able to get some wins. They're 4th in the East. They're 9-14. Top team is Danville, 14-8. Got a ways to go, but at the same time, they still have a shot at being one of those top 2 teams. So they look pretty good over the weekend. Definitely look pretty good over the weekend. And so they're off today. And they've got a 2-game road series at Bluefield, and then they'll have a 2-game home series against Pulaski, and then another 2-game home series against Bluefield. And we'll have those home games for you all this week right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Other than that, it was kind of a light sports weekend, at least other than baseball. It was kind of a light sports weekend for me. I watched a little bit of the draft, and then I stayed away from most things, but the draft was fun. NHL draft. They actually tightened it up a little bit. It wasn't the usual get up on stage and talk for 3 minutes, and they usually would bring everybody. Instead, it actually looked a little bit more like a draft where you come up, have a brief statement, announce your pick, and go off. And watching an event from the Sphere, let me tell you, that's where a lot of these drafts should go. NHL on point with the presentation from the Sphere. So I'd like to see the NFL draft go to the Sphere. The NBA draft would look fantastic at the Sphere. I mean, have you seen this venue yet? Really? This is one of the premier venues, I think, in Las Vegas or around the country. with the theater inside with that all immersive screen and then the outside. I mean, this is where sports teams should be going. I think a lot of events should be held in Vegas for the award ceremonies, for drafts. I mean, I didn't realize what kind of venue that truly was inside until I got to watch a little bit of the draft over the weekend. So that was fun. All right, I've got someone sending me a text. Is this you, Ben Anderson, sending me a text? It's not you. Okay. The We Are in the Game College Football 25 launch party apparently is happening at the Cam Henderson Center, 7/16/2024. More details to follow, I'm being told. But I just got this text about the launch party for the video game, that we are in the game. I don't think that's the cover, though. It's a Marshall 25 jersey. I don't think that's the cover, unless you get a printable cover. Oh, no, our producer, Ben Anderson's already got his mind thinking, oh, I want one now. We're getting close to that game. He's going to be talking about that. That's all he's focused on now, really. He's focused on this video game. So I guess there's a launch party at the Henderson Center. The launch party at the... Couldn't we do that at the Joan? A launch party at the Joan instead of the Henderson Center? I mean, I get it. You're inside the arena. Maybe you can hook up the video game to the scoreboard. Wouldn't it have been cooler to have that over at the football stadium with the bigger scoreboard, have that thing going over there? That would have been probably cooler. Just me. That's just me. I don't want to shoot holes in everything, but that's just me. I would have had that over at Joan C. Edwards Stadium. I would have had the big scoreboard going with the video game. You could have somebody playing it. You could have Marshall players playing the game. And you could have your launch party there instead of having it at the Henderson Center. Okay, I get it. It's fine. Because it's probably nicer inside the Henderson Center than it is outside. I mean, Henderson Center, after all, is such a climate-controlled facility. Never mind. I would have done this outside. I'm sorry. I appreciate the heads up on this, but I would have done this outside over at Jones C. Edwards Stadium. I would have done this in Henderson Center. I don't know. Maybe it's easier to manage this, but there you go. If you're of the set that is going to get this thing, more details to follow. I don't know. Maybe they're going to sell this thing there. I don't know. All right, let's turn our attention to, let's get into the real meat of the show today. When we continue, Juli Fulks is going to join us in the program. We're going to catch up with her and talk about what's been happening with her program so far. Later on, we'll get your text in, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. We're going to give you an opportunity to win Cold Cats tickets today. So you know how this works. Participation does matter. If you're part of the show today, you get a shot at winning tickets. And we'll give you an opportunity to pick whatever game you want to go to this week. So we've got tickets for the Cold Cats. We'll do that with our text line, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. More coming up on today's edition of The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Metro Community Federal Credit Union has been serving the Huntington community for 70 years and is proud to announce our newest location in Lavalette is now open. Wayne County residents, you now have access to a modern banking facility, a full range of services, advanced technology, expert financial advice, and even a smart coffee kiosk cafe. Learn more about Metro Community Federal Credit Union online at metrocommunityfcu.com or visit us today on 5th Street Road.
Equal housing lender, member NCUA.
Menards is your electrical headquarters. We carry all the tools and testers you need for any electrical job. Stack up your toolbox with Southwire electrical products today. Right now, save big money on Southwire electrical tools, testers, cable ties, wire, and cable. Shop our huge selection in store at Menards. Ranked #1 in customer satisfaction among home improvement retailers according to J.D. Power. For more information, visit jdpower.com/awards.
Save big money at Menards.
It's better over here. If you're 55 and up, T-Mobile has an exclusive rate plan just for you. Right now, get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for just $30 a line. That's a 45% savings versus Verizon and AT&T. Plus, you can get one of the latest 5G phones free when you add a line. That's right, a free 5G phone. Experience all this and more on America's largest 5G network. So why wait? At T-Mobile, customers 55 and up can get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for only $30 a line. Just go to T-Mobile.com/choice55 or visit your local store to make the switch.
With AutoPay using debit or bank account plus taxes and fees, 45% off 2 lines versus AT&T Starter and Verizon Welcome. Plan benefits vary. Free phones up to $300 off with 24 monthly bill credits and qualifying new line for well-qualified customers plus tax and $35 device connection charge. Contact us before canceling entire account to continue remaining bill credits. Bill credits end if you pay off device early. See details at T-Mobile.com.
Is reviewing life insurance on your to-do list? Now's the perfect time to add it. A friend recently told me that securing life insurance sooner rather than later can help you lock in lower rates for years to come. So, I bumped this up on my list and got it done. I called SelectQuote and couldn't believe how easy and affordable life insurance is. I'm 40 and got a $500,000 policy for $16 a month. My husband's also 40 and his $500,000 policy was only $18 a month. Plus, with SelectQuote's same-day coverage, there was no medical exam required and we were covered by the time we hung up. Knowing I have this checked off my list feels amazing, but the peace of mind knowing my family is protected feels even better.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-694-1010. That's 1-800-694-1010. Or go to SelectQuote.com to get your free quote today. 1-800-694-1010. Details on example rate at SelectQuote.com.
Okay, forest animals, today is a new day. Kids are coming to the forest, and it's up to us to make their visit a good one. Sparrow.
Yes?
Have you practiced the most popular bird songs for the year?
Of course.
Catchy. I like it. Okay, River.
Dude.
How's the temperature?
It's a refreshing 52 degrees, man. Perfect for a little riverside shoeless relaxation.
Ah, good. Owl, you here? Course. Who's asking? I am. Look, you know the drill. Sleep during the day, scare the kids at night. Perfect. I love my job. Oak Tree?
What's up?
Still in the same place I left you last year. That's what I like. Consistency.
Well, it's not like I'm going anywhere for the next couple hundred years.
I know. I love it. Turtle. Turtle.
He's not here yet, man.
He's late every morning. You'd think he would have learned by now to leave the night before our meetings. Okay. Squirrel. Has anybody seen Mr. Squirrel?
The forest has been preparing just for you. Visit a forest near you today. To learn more about cool things to do in the forest, visit discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
During difficult times, young military families feel the impact. When a military spouse is unemployed, the whole family struggles. The Armed Services YMCA answers the call and provides food assistance to ensure military children have plenty to eat and childcare that enables military spouses to work. Now more than ever, we need your help to provide emergency relief to military families. Help now at helpymca.org.
You're listening to The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Winner of the 2024 West Virginia Broadcasters Association Excellence in Broadcasting Award for Best Talk Show.
Welcome back to our Monday edition, The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Since it is the start of July, that means we're getting closer and closer to the start of not only football season, but basketball season. We'll be right there. And joining us now on the program, the new head coach of the Marshall women's basketball team, Juli Fulks. And I know you've been getting underway these last few days. How's everything been going so far, Coach?
Hey, great. We got back in the gym with the whole team last week, and so this week started the second round with everybody, and it's just been awesome. They've been super excited, hardworking, everything you want out of the first couple weeks of practice.
What exactly have you put them through as far as trying to introduce yourself to them and kind of get a bird's eye view of what your team's all about? What does that process look like for you?
Yeah, I always think about when we're doing things kind of in three phases. And so we have the installation piece where we're putting in major parts of our offense or defense, the mastery phases, and then what we call in the player development, you do you, where they're specifically getting better at skill sets that'll fit into either side. And so we started on defense and rebounding, and so we have put in a collective, the defense, and we're kind of building out from there. But then on the flip side, we want them to be really aggressive on offense. And so for our interior players, we've been working on a lot of positioning and footwork, and we're still getting up a ton of shots because it is no secret that we're going to be shooting a lot of threes.
And that's something this team liked to do last year, and of course now you're
They did.
yeah, you're building on that with other things, and so really the transition's not been that different for them.
It hasn't. And I think, that's one of the things that you always want the players to see the similarities. And so this week we'll start talking about some full court defense, which obviously is going to fit right in with who they were last year and what parts of that are going to be the same. And on offense, we're going to shoot a lot of threes. That's a normal piece for them and be really aggressive on the offensive boards. And so the one thing I always, we want them to understand is there's a lot of ways to win a basketball game. And, we graduated some key pieces last year. And so when we look at this year's team, we're trying to put together the best scheme for this year's group and kind of that puzzle of who does what. And so I think they have been really open to everything that's been happening. We have a running 3-on-3 tournament all summer to get the competitive juices flowing, where every day the teams change and we keep track of wins and losses by the individual. And so that has been really fun. And so we're trying to make sure they're having a great time while we're getting better. And it's still the summer, so November's a long way away. So trying to balance all of that.
Who's choosing teams? Is it you or is it the players themselves?
Yeah, the score actually. And so at the end of the day, we take whoever the top 5 winners, and then who is collectively on the bottom 5. And so the top winners with the bottom, and then we fill in the middle. And what we really want to see is who always wins, no matter who you play with, who always wins. And so teammates are always chosen by where you rank right now. And so the teams are always balanced. And so that's been really fun. And they've loved it. And as you can imagine, as each day goes on, the competitive juices, it's now at the point where we got to have 2 refs on every game because they're getting after it.
And that's what you want to see, obviously, that you want to see them into it and just taking that opportunity to showcase themselves and still show they can work in a team atmosphere.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I love great teams just have players that refuse to lose. And so this has been something I've always loved doing, and the summer is a great time to do it, and especially with having 6 new players, we get a chance to see what are they really good at. And it's what you just mentioned, with them changing teams every day, they're getting to know their teammates and starting to figure out strengths and what they might be trying to force them into on defense. So it has been really fun. Today was day 5 of that. And so we'll have our 6th round tomorrow, and we'll keep this going for a little bit. And I love it. I like just watching the competitive action. And obviously 3-on-3 is great for a lot of things. It's not great for everybody because everybody's not built for the 3-on-3 game, but we're enjoying it.
Our guest is Juli Fulks, head coach of the Marshall women's basketball team. And I was going to ask a little bit about that chemistry. Now, every year is a transition year. It doesn't matter if it's a new coach, a veteran coach, a coach who's been with the program for a long time. Every year is a transition year because, as you mentioned, you lose players, you bring players in. So there really hasn't been that much of a difficulty in bringing new players in, adjusting to the players that are here, the chemistry. This is just business as usual. That's usually overblown, right, when you bring a new coach in, trying to make sure everything fits.
Yeah, I think the biggest piece anytime you're changing is just getting your staff and team set so that you can start moving forward. But I completely agree. No matter where you're at, every year I've been a place, it's a big transition when you graduate your seniors and you're bringing in your next roster. And so I always think June is the time that you reset. And we do one of the things, I have a ritual that we do every year as a team, and we sit there as a group and we talk about why do we do this? Why do we all come together? Why do we play basketball? Why do we coach basketball? And I think that's a huge piece of the culture, is starting to understand, why do your teammates want to be here every day? What drives them? And, that for us every year is the starting point as we talk about our goals and who we want to be, which is obviously, we want to be the team that's picked to win the Sun Belt every year. There's never going to be a goal lower than that. And so how do we collectively come together and do that, and why do we do that? And I think that was a really fun exercise that we all did together now it's been a week ago Sunday, but it's a foundational piece for everything that we do, because basketball seasons are a long year, and so we gotta be there for each other, and really the culture and building that each June is a really important step for me.
Juli Fulks is with us, head coach of the Marshall women's basketball team. I'm kind of curious how things have gone for you so far. You've tackled the transfer portal, but you've also gone the high school route a little bit. What's just your collective thoughts on those newcomers that are coming in and how they fit with what you have?
Yeah, we identified what we thought were some specific needs. We wanted to get bigger on the interior with rebounders, and we wanted to bring in some extra point guard play. And so I've got to give our staff a lot of credit. When we identified what we thought we wanted to add, they really hit the ground running. And so, we hit the trifecta in terms of incoming freshmen, junior college students, and then the transfer portal. And this class came from all the way from the West Coast in California to the East Coast in Maryland. And I would say there's been a theme in terms of we've got Blessing King, who came from the OVC, and she was the leading rebounder in the OVC. And we have Leosha, who came from California, and she averaged 17 rebounds a game. Like, rebounding is a really important part of the game, and so we went after some of the best rebounders in the country, and we're really excited to add them to the list. And so I thought there's so many really good pieces here, and we just thought, what are some areas that we can enhance through the portal and through transfers and freshmen, and we're excited about the 6 that came in. I think they bring a lot to the table and can all immediately have an impact.
Yeah, and you mentioned those freshmen, including a Casey Ingram out of Kings High School. She was fun to talk to, and she was excited as well. And I think sometimes the normal fan thinks transfer portal. That's how you build a team. But if you are successful in recruiting freshmen as well, yeah, that could build something long term. And do you see maybe a trend that it's going back to that a little bit more? Make sure you're taking care of those incoming freshmen, develop them, make sure you retain them. Is that what you're seeing in the near future? Maybe less reliance on the transfer portal and a little bit more of a mix?
Yeah, I think, this is the last year of the COVID 5th year for everybody. And so I think now that, you immediately, remove a year of eligibility that we've just kind of had built into the system for so long, and how that swung things to the extreme with transfers. And so, my guess is it does, as you just said, it becomes a little bit more of a balance. And nobody can predict where everything's going with the NCAA and the recent court cases. But if I had to look at basketball, collectively, I think it's great when players get to come in and be there from their freshman to their senior year, grow, contribute, and be a member of the community. I think in so many ways that can be ideal. And the great thing about the transfer portal is it can help student athletes that maybe got to a place where it wasn't the right fit, and they can go to a place that helps utilize their strengths in a different way. And so that can be important. But I think if everybody had their choice, maybe it would be to go somewhere and immediately love it and build team and build culture and friendships for life. But, I think student athletes having options is a really good thing. And I still hope we can go and build in multiple ways and use the portal where and how it might work out really well for us and helping a student athlete find the perfect fit and place to end their career. And so, I'm open to both sides, and I think having both sides can make a really great roster.
Our guest is Juli Fulks, head coach of the Marshall women's basketball team. As you get ready for the season, we know at least one of your non-conference opponents. On the road, Sun Belt MAC Challenge, you get the Toledo Rockets right off the bat.
Yeah. What a great challenge. I love the Sun Belt MAC Challenge. You take, especially in women's basketball, two of the great mid-major leagues. And obviously Toledo has such a long history. I'm originally from Northwest Ohio, so my family was pretty excited when that'll be a close game for a lot of them. And obviously with their head coach leaving and taking the Miami job, there's some similarities in terms of, two programs that have been the top of the league last year, coaching changes, we both had they had the MAC Player of the Year graduate. We had the Sun Belt Player of the Year graduate. And so I think it'll be a really interesting, game on the court in terms of, who handles the transition better and quicker. And both groups have a lot of really key returners coming to that game. So we're excited. I think anytime you get to go play high-level competition, it's going to make your team better. And, opening on the road is always a big challenge, and that won't be anything we shy away from.
And this is, of course, a Mid-American Conference opponent so a lot of Herd fans, this is a rivalry game right off the bat, and you have some familiarity with everything. You don't have to be educated by the fans, right? They're probably telling you already what this game's about.
Yeah. Well, and I love that. One of the things that makes Marshall great is that we have a fan base that cares, and they are invested. And you only want to be places where people care. And obviously that sometimes can mean, hey, they let you know if they don't think you're doing a very good job. And I would take that any day over a group of fans that was apathetic and wasn't showing up and didn't care about your team. And so it has been great from the beginning. Everywhere we go, we've had recruits all over town, and people immediately come up and talk to them. And these players know that the community cares about them. And so we're here to make sure that we show up for that challenge, and our team's ready to go. And obviously, everybody's trying to start the season with the first win of the year, but it's an exciting thing. I love that the administrators put that together. And last year, Marshall wasn't able to participate, as there's got to be two teams every year that don't because of the imbalance of numbers. And we're excited to be in it this year and to get one of the top draws.
Juli Fulks is with us, head coach of the Marshall women's basketball team. So I know that's the only game right now that's really official, but how much have you had as far as involvement with finishing out the schedule? I know you've inherited some games, but have you had a chance to maybe put your fingerprints on what we can see for the schedule just yet?
Yeah, we've gotten a couple things that we're really excited about. One is that we're doing a foreign tour in Italy at the beginning of August. And anytime you get to come in and start with a foreign tour, there are so many benefits. The biggest is obviously getting to have a team culture event where everybody's going to go and spend a lot of time together, while also having, a chance to go see a country that you haven't been to and experience their culture and become, citizens of the world and see that it's a much bigger place. And then on the basketball side, the 10 practices just gives us a chance to be on the court more this summer, to do more of the install of the offense and defense, and go to Italy and play a couple games and see what worked and what might not have worked. And so there's benefits on both sides. And so we were excited to get that added to the schedule. And then the other piece that we were able to add, the WBCA, our oversight organization, they're having their first official MTE multi-team event ever, and that's held at Disney. And so we're going to be going down to Disney the weekend before Thanksgiving, and we know of the three opponents, it'll be either Tulsa, Georgia, Penn State. So we'll play two of those three, yet to be determined, and play at ESPN down there and be on TV. So those two trips alone are going to be really exciting for the fan base, and we're proud that we were able to be a part of both of those. That's a big deal, and so those will be good for us. And then the rest of the schedule we're working on finalizing, but our administration has been great in keeping opportunities and helping us get home games and trying to make a schedule that's both balanced so that we're playing really good teams, but also having home games and putting the whole thing together in a collective.
So not only do they get to go to Disney, they get to go to Italy as a team, and
right?
So that's
a pretty good first year. It's a pretty good first year.
Yeah, that's the recruiting pitch right there. Hi, we get to go to Disney, we get to go to Italy, and you know, where would you like to go?
Yeah, and we're playing at Florida this year, so we have the return game in Florida and the Sun Belt tournament. So we know we're going to Florida 3 times. So we might have a pretty good tan by March.
This job does itself, right, Coach? That's the thing you've got. It just does itself now.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what. Sometimes we have so many good people on staff right now that every time I turn around, there's somebody doing good stuff that makes everything easier, and I am very grateful for that.
Juli Fulks is with us. It's been fun to catch up with you again. I love our opportunities together. I'm excited for what's in store. I think that's fantastic what you're doing with the 3-on-3. That sounds fun in itself, and I'm sure those have been some really intense matchups, and that's what you're looking for.
It is, and at the end of the day, I want players who love to compete. I say all the time, basketball is fun. But that really means if you really view basketball as fun, it means you love to compete. And that's what I want to see. I just want to know when the chips are on the line, who finds a way to always win. And so it's been really fun, and they have been absolutely open to it. And they're competitors, as you can imagine, from top to the bottom of the roster. And it's been absolutely great.
Coach, good luck. We'll talk to you soon. Of course, It must be hard being you right now with trips to Italy and Disney. I mean, what a terrible job you've taken here. Jeez.
Yeah. I feel I'm very blessed, and we're going to do everything that we can to, obviously when you're given a lot is expected, and we're going to make sure we do our part and be prepared and show up ready.
That's fantastic, Coach. Thanks for doing it, and good luck on those trips. Good luck with the season. I'm sure we'll talk again soon, but that's fantastic. I'm sure the room exploded with excitement when you told them that.
It did. Well, I appreciate, Paul, you having me on. I'm looking forward to the next time that we get to talk.
Thanks, Juli. Appreciate it.
All right, have a good night.
That's Juli Fulks, head coach of the Marshall women's basketball team. So, trip to Italy, Disney, of course, going to Florida. Life is good right now if you're the head coach of the Marshall women's basketball team. We'll get you caught up on what happened to the Coal Cats when we continue, and we'll get your text in 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. This is The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Giovanni's Pizza. Fresh, hot, and tasty. Have it delivered right to your door. Giovanni's, the Italian place to be.
Here's another Kindred Communications community chatter. The Cabell Huntington Health Department's conducting a series of evening vaccine clinics this summer. The dates are June 3rd, July 1st, August 5th, and September 9th, taking place from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. at the department at 703 7th Avenue. No appointment is necessary.
This Kindred Communications community chatter brought to you by the providers at Marshall OBGYN, online at marshallhealth.com/OBGYN.
Jelly Roll, the Beautifully Broken Tour. Friday, November 1st, Charleston Coliseum. Jelly Roll, live. With Ernest, Shabuzi, and Ali Colleen. On sale now at Ticketmaster.com. For more, visit JellyRoll615.com.
Is reviewing life insurance on your to-do list? Now's the perfect time to add it. A friend recently told me that securing life insurance sooner rather than later can help you lock in lower rates for years to come. So, I bumped this up on my list and got it done. I called SelectQuote and couldn't believe how easy and affordable life insurance is. I'm 40 and got a $500,000 policy for $16 a month. My husband's also 40 and his $500,000 policy was only $18 a month. Plus, with SelectQuote's same-day coverage, there was no medical exam required, and we were covered by the time we hung up. Knowing I have this checked off my list feels amazing, but the peace of mind knowing my family is protected feels even better.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-694-1010. That's 1-800-694-1010. Or go to SelectQuote.com to get your free quote today. 1-800-694-1010. Details on example rate at SelectQuote.com.
Take a look under your bed. Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your basement. There's a pair of overalls that overall you're not so into anymore. A perfectly good laptop that hasn't sat in your lap in months. And even more stuff, but still no jobs? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed, and they're the stuff inside your stuff. even inside that winter coat that moved with you to Phoenix. Our job is to unlock those jobs, and it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover keytar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs. Find your nearest donation center at goodwill.org. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
This is The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.
Our Monday edition continues here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. I'm your host, Paul Swann. Thanks for tuning in. Our producer, Ben Anderson. We're taking your phone calls this hour. 304-396-TALK, 303-96-8255. Coldcats in action yesterday, getting the victory over the Bristol State Liners. The Coldcats getting, I think, an important series win. And now they'll be off today. They'll be on the road, taking on the Bluefield Ridge Runners tomorrow and on Wednesday. And then they'll have a 2-game home series against Pulaski, July 4th and 5th. So a great way to start your holiday weekend a little early with a little baseball at Jack Cook Field. Coldcats are now 9-14. Very important that they start putting some series together and putting some wins together. And after the game yesterday, manager Tommy Gregg talked about the overall series with Bristol and just how he's seeing how the team is improving, their confidence, and how that actual rise in confidence showed up on the field.
Yeah, just a good win for us yesterday. Obviously, we got rain out. They were coming back, so we'll take that win any way we can get it. But I think we're trending in the right direction, and guys are starting to get more confident. We're preparing for the game, obviously, and our pitching and our hitting, our base running. We had some good at-bats, walks, had some extra base hits, so just a good game.
So what changed last time these two teams met versus this series and Bristol? What changed? He talked about how the Coldcats improved on the plate, on the mound this weekend, and how the game of baseball, despite playing the same opponent, is different every single day.
Yeah, they just swung the bats better. We threw a lot of off-speed at them. It just, you never know about baseball. Every day is a new adventure, as I said before. You can face a team that just killed you and come back and beat them 2 games in a row like we have, so you just never know, man.
One player that stood out for Tommy Gregg was Josh McDevitt. Talked about how he's impressed with the improvement of McDevitt's confidence and focus in the game, especially those game-time situations, and how he wants to see the level of confidence and, of course, focus in the rest of the bullpen as well.
Yeah, he's just a real confident guy, and Solomon's done a great job keeping him focused, and just Josh is going out and executing his pitches. He's being efficient. He understands walks will hurt you. He had a couple walks and they end up not scoring, but just even when guys are getting in scoring position, he's bearing down more, so you can see the focus and the confidence, and that's what we want in all our pitchers.
And one guy we talk about a lot is C.J. Richards, and he's becoming, and it's been quite obvious, the go-to leadoff hitter alongside the batting order. And he talked about that, talked about how he's finding his consistency, talking about how he's matured at the plate since the beginning of the season. And he highlighted the strengths of the top and bottom of the batting order and how that has translated to game time. And Tommy also talked about how building motivation has been the key to consistency.
Yeah, I think he's just getting more comfortable, more confident in his swing. Obviously, he knows if he gets on first base, and that's what we're trying to preach to him, whether it's a bunt, a hit, or a walk. When he gets on first base, it pretty much turns into at least a double, maybe a triple with his speed. And so I think he's starting to understand the small ball and quitting trying to hit all gappers and home, quit swinging for the fence, obviously. But he's been working on his swing, and I just like our top of the lineup right now. Rodriguez is swinging the bat great. He gives you a good at-bat. Barnett's a threat with power. So, yeah, I just feel good about the top of our lineup. And then when we get to the bottom of our lineup, they're producing too. They usually come up with men in scoring position, so they're making something. A big at bat in this game was Isaac Turner getting a 2-out RBI with the score 2-0. It gave us a cushion, scored a couple more, and then brought Joe in. He's been improving too. Joe Gomez has been improving. So we're looking for guys to keep going this way. Keeping them motivated is the key.
And finally, Tommy gave us a brief outlook on the upcoming series at Bluefield. He did emphasize the importance of carrying the momentum from the weekend and continuing to play consistent baseball.
they're a good team. But if we continue to play like we're playing and get the pitching and we're getting on base, we can make some things happen. So I don't care who we're playing. We just got to play a game the way we're trending right now. So.
That is Tommy Gregg, manager of the Tri-State Coldcats, back in action tomorrow. You can go over to the Coldcats website. You can watch the video stream, and, of course, all home games will be broadcast right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. We'll get your text in on the final segment, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. We got more coming up on this edition of The Drive, ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Get an 11% rebate at Menards. Keep your house or deck clean with Mold Armor products. Featuring built-in microban technology for enhanced cleaning power. Tackle your decking, siding, driveway, or any surface with ease. Mold Armor House Wash cleans mildew, mold, and algae stains. Plus, it's easy to use. Just spray and rinse off. Save big on cleaning products at Menards. #1 in customer satisfaction among home improvement retailers according to J.D. Power. For more information, visit jdpower.com/awards.
Save big money at Menards.
Introducing In Your Business, a podcast highlighting thriving Huntington area businesses. Presented by Moses Auto Mall. Online at mosesmeansmore.com. In Your Business tells the story of Huntington's successes and where you can gain invaluable insights and advice from seasoned entrepreneurs. Produced by Kindred Communications and the Huntington Regional Chamber of Commerce. Find it on kindredcom.net, huntingtonchamber.org, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Is reviewing life insurance on your to-do list? Now's the perfect time to add it. A friend recently told me that securing life insurance sooner rather than later can help you lock in lower rates for years to come. So I bumped this up on my list and got it done. I called SelectQuote and couldn't believe how easy and affordable life insurance is. I'm 40 and got a $500,000 policy for $16 a month. My husband's also 40 and his $500,000 policy was only $18 a month. Plus, with SelectQuote's same-day coverage, there was no medical exam required, and we were covered by the time we hung up. Knowing I have this checked off my list feels amazing, but the peace of mind knowing my family is protected feels even better.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-694-1010. That's 1-800-694-1010. Or go to SelectQuote.com to get your free quote today. 1-800-694-1010. Details on example rate at SelectQuote.com.
Is reviewing life insurance on your to-do list? Now's the perfect time to add it. A friend recently told me that securing life insurance sooner rather than later can help you lock in lower rates for years to come. So I bumped this up on my list and got it done. I called SelectQuote and couldn't believe how easy and affordable life insurance is. I'm 40 and got a $500,000 policy for $16 a month. My husband's also 40 and his $500,000 policy was only $18 a month. Plus, with SelectQuote's same-day coverage, there was no medical exam required, and we were covered by the time we hung up. Knowing I have this checked off my list feels amazing, but the peace of mind knowing my family is protected feels even better.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-694-1010. That's 1-800-694-1010. Or go to SelectQuote.com to get your free quote today. 1-800-694-1010. Details on example rate at SelectQuote.com.
Hey Tri-State, this is Amy from Acme Drug Testing in Catlettsburg, Kentucky. We hope all of you have a safe and fun-filled July 4th weekend. Don't forget Dog Dazzle and stay for the best fireworks in the Tri-State. Wear your red, white, and blue, and I will see you there.
Okay, forest animals, today is a new day. Kids are coming to the forest, and it's up to us to make their visit a good one. Sparrow.
Yes?
Have you practiced the most popular bird songs for the year?
Of course.
Catchy. I like it. Okay, River.
Dude.
How's the temperature?
It's a refreshing 52 degrees, man. Perfect for a little riverside shoeless relaxation.
Ah, good. Owl, you here? Who's asking? I am. Look, you know the drill. Sleep during the day, scare the kids at night. Perfect. I love my job. Oak Tree?
What's up?
Still in the same place I left you last year. That's what I like. Consistency.
Well, it's not like I'm going anywhere for the next couple hundred years.
I know. I love it. Turtle. Turtle.
He's not here yet, man.
He's late every morning. You'd think he would have learned by now to leave the night before our meetings. Okay, Squirrel. Has anybody seen Mr. Squirrel?
The Forest has been preparing just for you. Visit a forest near you today. To learn more about cool things to do in the forest, visit discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
This is The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.
It's our final segment for today's edition of The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Our text line this hour, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Had a texter send me a picture just a few seconds ago. Said, hey, this is a really great board game. It's the Marshallopoly. I have not seen that in the wild. I would play some Marshallopoly. I like Monopoly. Back in the day, I loved Monopoly. I would play some Marshallopoly. I don't know if it's out there in the wild anywhere. I can go grab that, but maybe, just maybe, our intern/producer, Ben Anderson, can go procure us some. We could play some Marshall. We could do a Twitch stream on Marshallopoly. How many people would tune into that? 2, 3, maybe? No, that's cool. I love the all the variations of Monopoly that are out there, especially the Marshall one. All right, so I was curious. I got a text earlier. Someone's giving me the heads up on the, for those of you that are following the video game College Football 25, Marshall's into it. They've got the launch party. So I asked real quick, like, hey, can I get some details? What's going on over here? And I've been promised as soon as they can release some info, they're going to tell me the details. But I did say, hey, why can't we have this event over at the football stadium and throw that video game up on that massive big screen? Wouldn't that have been cool? And I was told that copyright issues don't allow Marshall to play it on the scoreboard. They tried. Marshall did try. So, okay, the Cam Henderson Center makes sense because if you can't utilize the big monster scoreboard, just have the event in the Cam Henderson Center. That makes sense to me now that I know that. But that's missing the boat by whomever makes that decision. It wasn't Marshall. That would have been so cool to have that up on the scoreboard. You could have went and it's like a watch party just about. Those are always fun. You go to a watch party, depending on your sport. I mean, I always thought it was super fantastic to watch during NBA games and hockey games, the crowd outside of the arena or wherever they're hosting the watch party to have the big screen with the game on. And this would have been a great opportunity for that as well. But I always loved just watching how many people show up just to watch the game outside of the arena. And some of them are watching the game outside of the arena while the game's going on inside the arena as well. That's dedication. So wouldn't that be cool if Marshall was able to do that in the future? You could have like a watch party for a big game, maybe at the Henderson Center, maybe at the football stadium. That would be super cool. So I did ask, though. I thought that was fun, though. I really like where they're going with this kind of stuff. They've been doing pretty good with all of the social media and trying to attract a younger audience. And we've had Ryan Crisp on a few times, and he's talked about that. Look, we're not trying to do anything that's going to hurt our long-standing herd fans. We're just trying to add more people and get some younger folks in here as well, which I do appreciate. A couple of notes we need to get to before we call it a day. Announcement today from volleyball. A new director of volleyball operations has been hired, Macy Watrous. She is from Ohio University. She was a volunteer assistant on the staff. She played with the Bobcats, and Ohio's very successful. It's a good program, and so you bring some experience in. You bring some outside experience from a program that has been successful at a high level, and here she comes. She was a defensive specialist. She finished her career. She had 962 digs, 63 service aces, and she was the team captain in 2023. She had a career high in digs in October of 2023, 24 in a match against Western Michigan. That's pretty good. So she's pretty good, Texas native, smart, 4-time academic All-MAC selection, 4-time Dean's List honoree, and she brings in some fresh perspective and comes from a successful program. It doesn't hurt. So a director of volleyball operations, and you're going to see more of that now. Programs are realizing you're going to have to invest. If you want the success that you crave so much, you're going to have to invest in the program. I don't know if there's going to ever be a limit to how many coaches are too many coaches, how many people on staff are too many. But at the same time, if you're chasing that excellence, and we've seen this athletic department highlight that and basically telegraph those moves. We want to win the Commissioner's Cup. We want to finish first. We want to be high level in all the sports. Well, you can't just depend on football and basketball. You're going to have to depend on all the other sports as well. So I think you're going to see moves like this be the norm instead of the exception as far as trying to generate standards, trying to actually give these programs the staff and the resources. I mean, there's still a long way to go. There's definitely a gap, long way to go. I don't want to paraphrase or steal from Coach Huff, but yeah, he was right. Hey, you got to close that gap. There is a gap. Tomorrow on the show, wide open until we find out otherwise. We've got our producer, Ben Anderson, combing the sports landscape. But we'll open up a text line for you tomorrow. We'll do that, 304-396-TALK. So go ahead and get that programmed in your phone now so you can have us on your phone ready to go. You can find me on X. That's formerly known as Twitter, at Paul Swann. And, of course, if you missed anything from today's show, you want to go back and get a previous episode, you missed an interview with someone, you can, of course, get us on our podcast. That's on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast if you want to be a part of today's or any day's edition of The Drive right here on ESPN 94.1. and AM 930. A couple other news and note items. Marshall Baseball received a commitment from transfer left-handed pitcher Jack easy for me to say, Jack DiDonato. He is from Lower Columbia Community College out of Washington, Mercer, Washington. He went to Mercer High School. So he has committed to the Thundering Herd. I think that's going to do it for this edition of the program. We got a lot to get into for the rest of the week. We're going to try to get somebody in from Rio Grande soon. They've got a football camp coming up in late July, middle of July actually, July 14th. So we got that before we went to air. So we're going to try to get someone in from Rio Grande, talk a little bit more about that. And, of course, hopefully we'll be talking about this a lot more in the near future. Former Ironton runner Mackenzie Long earning third spot in 200 meter for Team USA. So she's going to be representing the United States. So congratulations to her. That's going to do it for this edition. Thanks for being a part of it. I'll be back with you tomorrow as we get you closer to your holiday weekend. Hope everyone's having a great week so far. Thanks for tuning in. Our producer, Ben Anderson. Appreciate him. Thanks for tuning in to today's edition of The Drive at ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Retransmitting in Glorious FM on 94.1 W227BS Huntington. This is 930 WRVC Huntington, celebrating 100 years of broadcasting.